people walking around pasting, they're acting out their speech. It was really a fantastic journey for me. Good afternoon, WMC.
Good afternoon.
And happy Ramadan to one and all of you. If I faint at minute 25, please call an ambulance, because it's the first day of Ramadan and we're really low on the tank. This is what I do in Toastmasters. This is my real passion. I give speeches, I give table topics, but my baby is in evaluation. And I believe that evaluation is the backbone of quality in any Toastmasters club. And as an evaluator, you try to train yourself to evaluate the moment you enter a Toastmasters club. And my first impression when I entered this atmosphere is, of course, professional, prepared, planned, and everything should go smoothly. So congratulations for that. As for my presentation here, let me give you a brief background on what I do as a hobby. This, my dear Toastmasters, is called a side burn injury. You get this when you fall off your bicycle at high speed. See, your skin does not get hurt, it peels off. So if you're into bicycle and you want to lose some weight and you want to join me, I'll be happy to welcome you to not to have this injury, but to lose some weight and become healthy. And if you follow the news, this is a scene from one of the most marvelous cycling event in the world. Happens every year in France. It's called Tour de France. 2,800 kilometers in 3 weeks. It's like cycling from here to Cyprus in 3 weeks. This is called climbing the mountain of the Pyrenees. Huge mountain chain, and you have to climb with your cycle. It's really hard. I've seen people crying on the Pyrenees here. So difficult. But for the health and for the wealth, people do it and people seem to enjoy it. Right. Ideally speaking, when we think of evaluation, we think we want to help people. It's my friend, I want to help you. She's my colleague, I want to give her some feedback. It's my obligation as a Toastmaster to give constructive feedback. In fact, when you pledge before joining a club, we say we'll support you whenever possible. And when you take that manual like Raji did, so meticulous, so beautiful in his voice, and gave an introduction about your voice when you speak, he is giving a pledge, a commitment, that I'm here to give you some constructive feedback. But in reality, let's face it, deep inside our souls, we always think about this. My God, this evaluator hates me. I am sure he will pinpoint something negative of my speech. You know what? I will give my speech and I will ignore his evaluation. And we tend to block our ears. So, Reggie, of course, it's not about you, someone else. He will stand up, he will give you his evaluation, beautiful 3 minutes evaluation. The speaker is sitting here, from this ear to that ear. And it happens, right? Everywhere. This is human nature. We don't like to get feedback. How many of you is married in this room? And how many of you get feedback every morning? And every evening? And your husband hates it, right?
All husbands do.
What we put a smile and we pretend, yes dear, because a happy wife is a happy life. There's a human nature to have this wars inside our souls and our hearts. We don't like to put on the spotlight, we don't like to put ourselves in the evaluation seat, because it's a painful process. You create stress internally as well as externally when you give or receive evaluation. So, in the heart of this process of stress, annoyance, and possible battles and fights, we have to go and dig into the real basic model of communication. This is communication 101. The sole purpose of us being here on a Friday afternoon is to encode a message, an idea, a feeling, send that message through a medium, and hope that audience members will decode this message correctly. Because sometimes when we communicate, we try to encode our feelings and ideas in a certain way, send it to you guys, in the hope of you guys understanding the correct feeling of intention. And in real life, a lot of external noises happen here, in between us encoding and us decoding the message. And we ask ourselves so often, public speaking or communication, is this an art or is this a skill? Show of hands for those who believe it's an art. There's hope. I have 3 people who think it's an art. It's a skill?
Yes.
So if is this a skill, then it means it can be taught. It can be transformed from one person to another. Another question, are you born with it? Or can you learn it? How many of you are born speakers? So humble. Not a single born speaker. All of you
You
are.
can't become a Tom Jones.
Yeah, of course. None. The room is free of born speakers. All of you are learners.
There is one Suresh, but
The humble bundle here. Right, so you see, I often use this example all the time. This gentleman here, of course we all know him, right? Who's he?
Bill Clinton.
That's Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton. And he's famous for?
he wanted that. He wanted to
How about this person here?
Pavarotti.
Exactly. This Luciano Pavarotti, one of the 3 greatest tenors that passed away, sadly. Do you remember what Bill Clinton used to speak? I don't. I hate politics. But there was something about his voice that attracts you when he speaks. Luciano Pavarotti goes from a lower tone of voice to a higher soprano tone of voice in the same operetta. I spend a lifeline teaching people to change one voice tone, and I fail. He does 15 in one operetta. They are gifted. They are masters. They're born with the gift. This gentleman over here, who's he?
Hitler.
Is he a born speaker or a learned speaker? People used to listen to him, right? Why is that?
Passionate.
Power of ideas as well.
Or maybe they feared him.
Later. But initially.
Yeah, initially, exactly. How about the gentleman? Yeah. Who's he?
This is Kamal Pasha.
I see. That's why I caught you. See, I give you all international personality, and this is a local Egyptian leader. He's Jamal Abdel Nasser. In 1955, he made a brave decision to make the Suez Canal public. He also had a beautiful, passionate voice. People were inspired by him. Why do we need to communicate? Nelson Mandela, yesterday or day before it was his birthday. 94 years of inspiration. 27 of them in Rubens Island, jailed. 27 years, 1/3 of his life. We often use him as an example. But if you dig deep into his biography, it's really amazing. This person gave everything. Everything, his own freedom for 27 years. Because he knew the reason why we communicate. And basically, we communicate for 4 reasons. To inform. This is very easy, right? You take this podium and you start by saying, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. You're informing. It's very easy. Everybody is doing it. Teachers do it all the time. And that's why we hate them. Not you, of course, we hate them. Because information is truly boring when communicating. We then move to the next level. We entertain. So we move from information to entertainment. And to move from here to here, it's a difficult task. That's why we pay comedians millions of dollars, because they know how to move from information to entertainment. Then we move into motivation. We bring people from their low levels of energy and take them up to a higher level of energy. It takes a lot of credibility to motivate people. Last but not least, we aim to inspire people. We give them personal stories of sacrifice, of freedom, of being jailed for 27 years in the hope of inspiring them. And these are the 4 basic purposes of communication. There are, of course, a lot of other reasons to communicate, like, for example, to nag on your husband, to compliment your boss, or to bid farewell to a leaving person coming very soon. But all of them, they are grouped under these 4 basic purposes of communication. And then again, we go to this beautiful notion. Are you a pigeon or a hawk in communication? Who's this guy? Martin Luther King Jr. And this person?
Malcolm X.
It's Malcolm X. Both of them were civil rights movement leaders in the same era in the US. Malcolm X had the same basic information as Martin Luther King. The only difference is Martin Luther King taught his principle in a more mellow type of approach. He said, turn the other cheek. Malcolm X was a little bit forceful in the same message. That if you want to take something, you want to earn the right for something, you have to go and grab it with force. Both of them delivered the same message, but both of them delivered it in a different technique or style. One was a pigeon, a mellow, soft-spoken person. One was a little bit more aggressive. But both of them were assassinated by one of their haters. So we predict that the person we're evaluating could be a pigeon or could be a hawk. You could put this inside of your head, that I'm evaluating a pigeon or I'm evaluating a hawk. And it's a very important distinction to put in your mind. This is the first impression that the speaker leaves for you as an evaluator. Of course, we have to understand it's not an easy task. In the top 10 types of phobias, we always say that the fear of public speaking,